It was a wild, wild week. Probably don't have to tell you guys that. We're going to dive into this week, though, kind of recap a little bit. A few thoughts I had today as I went through things. It's Saturday. It's getting late, but I am getting one up today. 30 for 30 still lives. We're going to talk a little bit about reform, not defund, and again, the week in review. I'm Jared. This is RedRacer Video, formerly a car vlogger. Now I'm an independent citizen journalist thanks to you guys. You keep the dream alive. You help me continue to do this every day. I do not work. This is all I do. Thanks to you one more time. In the description down below, you'll see links to Patreon, PayPal, Venmo. Help me if you guys find value by the end of this video is something you like and just something you want to continue to support. Again, click on the links. Thanks for helping me to everyone that's already done that. And thank you to everybody who helped me going forward. Appreciate you. Diving into it, I'm going to talk a little bit about the police reform thing. It'll be sprinkled in as we go on throughout this anyway, because a lot of the subjects are going to hinge around it. But something I want to touch on. This is something Dan Bongino touched on. I'm pretty sure I heard on X22. I heard the president talk about it while he was getting interviewed by Harris Faulkner. One of the things they're trying to do with police, you may or may not have heard this, is they're trying to take away a chokehold. The sound of it is terrible. He's choking them. You choke somebody the right way, you crack this thingy, and I'm not a doctor, but, you really cut the wind off. That's like brain damage. No oxygen in the brain is bad, even for very short periods of time. What police and what you guys watch on the UFC day after day after day when you're watching YouTube clips, when you guys, if you're into that kind of thing anyway, when they're choking somebody and you see them pass out, they call it a rear naked choke a lot of times, they're not actually choking them. The name does it a disservice. What they're actually doing is putting pressure on the sides of a person's neck, closing off the, I think the carotid artery, sorry again, not a doctor, slows blood flow, doesn't stop it, slows blood flow to the brain. That's what makes the person get woozy. Sometimes they do pass out. A lot of times, though, they just get woozy enough that it's over, it's done, and that's what happens. Police officers, in my opinion, should not be forced not to be able to use that. If they're in a fight with someone, they're literally fighting for their lives at that point. At that point, this guy gets free, he could kill you. I'm sorry, but that's where it's at. And if a criminal ever gets to a point where he's fighting with an officer, I get that there are bad officers out there, but more times than not, if that dude's got to squeeze the side of a guy's neck and make him woozy for a minute to stop him, I don't think that should be taken away. I think there's a huge misconception out there about what the chokehold is that they're talking about taking away from officers. And I think it all just goes back to what I'm going to get into here in a minute, which is just taking power away from police, which will then in turn make people not want to be police because they are now even more open for harm and death. I mean, their lives are already dangerous enough. And to ask them not to be able to defend themselves in any way, in my opinion, is unrealistic. We're going to move on, though. Again, this gets sprinkled in. The president answered some tough questions when he was with Harris Faulkner. She didn't, I would say by no stretch did she take it easy on him. And there was questions she asked him that he tried to politician his way out of, and she circled back to him. I was proud of her. She held him to it. She did a good job. Something I picked up on as he went through is as much as he wants to try and say the right thing every time, right? And keeping in mind, I touched on this in one of my last videos. Every time the president's on camera, guys, he is campaigning for his next term. He just is. And if he's not, he's doing himself a great disservice. It's smart for him to do that. Every opportunity on camera is an opportunity to talk about his achievements, talk about everything going on, tell people the truth about what he thinks is happening and what he's seeing, because we all know we're not seeing the truth, right? What I came up with is that he answered a lot of really, really tough questions and did a pretty good job of it. Again, I did hear a little bit of tiptoeing from him, but I think he's got to be careful right now about what he says. I think there's a lot of military / city SWAT / federal SWAT team stuff happening that he's got to be careful about what he says. One of the things that I'm picking up on more than anything, because I do see outrage, and I am seeing people that I think a lot of not standing on the exact same ground as I stand on all of this. And some of the people are even reaching out going, man, I get it, but you're still a white dude. And I'm reminded that, yeah, I don't get it. But again, a few videos back, go watch it. Nobody knows what it's like to be me either. And I get that all of this is very tough, but even if we're upset at police, even if it was the truth that they just go out looking for black people to beat up or whatever, even if that was true, destroying cities, businesses, and lives and killing people, including black people, is never the way to fix it. That's never in any way, shape, or form a wise thing to do. And anyone getting behind that at this point, you're making a big, big mistake. You just really are. Thankfully, to everyone out there, though, I'm going to remind you, the world is watching right now. Everything that is happening right now, the world is watching. My inbox, my DMs on Instagram, at RedRacer Video, link in the description on Instagram, and at RedRacer Video on Parler, Parler, ditch Facebook and Twitter. But I'm getting just a lot of support. There are still stragglers that come through banging on me, you know, but it's really just a multitude of people coming through and saying, thank you for what you're doing. Yes, this is valuable. A lot of you already support me on Patreon, PayPal, and Venmo, and thank you. It's all just been a really big eye-opener to me, though, that there are way more people awake to this and way more people that see how serious it is than I think most of you out there realize, because the TV will never tell you how strong we are. Just like they told you Hillary was going to crush Trump in a landslide in the polls, just like they told you lost 10 points of support last week, none of that is true. A lot of us are together, awake and strong, and they're trying as hard as they can to convince us we're not. That's it. That's just it. But as they're doing all of this, we're watching this. The world is watching. People are in the comments from Great Britain, from the UK, from all over the place. They're watching. The world is watching. Another thing I made note of this week, and a lot of the people that I watch, again, links in the description to Dan Bongino, X22 Report. Some really good documentaries, Follow the Cabal, Out of the Shadows. A lot of good stuff in there. But one of the things you pick up on is, and this is really a beautiful place to be in. Quick sidetrack here. It is beautiful to have been awake through this. There was definitely times, and I touched on this again in my last video, really quick reiteration. There was a time where all this stuff was really, really painful, and it was not a fun place to be, and it did cost me sleep, and I really did question, is there any point? Like, what do you do? How do you help anybody when all this is going on? But recently, it's just comfort, because I know the plan. Like, not the plan, but I'm comfortable with what's going on, because I can see things transpiring the way that I believe they need to, and we've been told they would. But we're watching these things play out over and over and over and over. This is all stuff we knew was going to happen, right? And their playbook is always the same. Go look at Google. You guys probably saw it the other day where they posted Black Lives Matter spikes every 4 years right before an election. And who is it that's pushing the spike? And who is it that's trying to capitalize and say, we love black people every time? The Democrats. The same Democrats that released this virus. The same Democrats that created the virus before they released the virus. They're trying to take out our vote and take out our voice. You're watching it happen. I'm locked out on Instagram right now for nothing. I did nothing. They locked me out till the 18th. I went through and was unfollowing a bunch of pages I don't follow anymore. It's got a tab on Instagram that says pages you don't look at anymore, right? So I was going through those to get rid of people. And it locked my account out saying I have a service that follows and unfollows people for me. I don't, not true. And I was doing that through a service you provide on your thing that says, hey, by the way, these are the people you don't look at anymore. They've never tried harder to shut us down. They've never tried harder to keep us quiet. They're deleting accounts, putting little disclaimers on posts. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This isn't the truth about COVID. They are straight up lying to us about COVID and then promising us that their little disclaimer is telling the truth about COVID while it lies about COVID. And my video is going to get a disclaimer for this because I said that and demonetized it. I wish I hadn't just said that, but oh well. This is the same playbook they've used over and over and over and over. They're using the false flag flu, and they're using false flag Floyd in conjunction to keep us scared, keep us inside, keep us quiet, keep us from voting. We took away their ability to cheat in the voting machines. People in the comments have brought this up. One of my theories about the way that our president was able to win was that we had more first-time voters than like ever. I know countless people that have never voted for it, including me, that went out and voted just to keep Hillary out of office. There was a lot of people like that. I've also been told by some people about some people that know some people that we may or may not have got the drop on them with how they were cheating with machines before that all went down, and maybe that's how we did it. But since you've seen, and there have been posts from Barr and the president and people in the administration that lead us to believe we've got the machine part licked and they can't cheat digitally anymore. That's why they don't even want people to make it to the machines now. Now they got to cheat through mail because we know they cheat through mail. And again, that's not a Fox News conspiracy theory. We have caught people stuffing ballots, getting rid of boxes of mail-in ballots. Those votes don't just disappear, folks. They get replaced with votes for the other guy. Who do you think that other guy is? It was a girl last time. Okay? Simultaneously, while all this is happening, they're trying to take your voice away. Shootings, they're trying to take our guns away. They've been trying to take our guns away, but man, they screwed the pooch on this whole deal. Because now you think anyone's going to give a gun up right now? Not a chance in HE double hockey sticks, as my mom would say. Nobody's giving up a gun right now. And if anyone out there says is even remotely comfortable with giving up your weapons, man, you are choosing to be a victim. And that is super duper dumb. Not calling you dumb, saying that's dumb. George Floyd had multiple funerals, while there have been countless people not allowed to even have funerals throughout this thing. There have been countless people who have died through this thing because they couldn't get medical help they needed. There have been people, just talking for a friend here, that had two of their first seizures, and have not really been able to get any answers, and it's not really like anybody's super motivated to get answers. There are people that are getting not diagnosed with cancer that they would have had they gone in. There are countless women missing mammograms that have breast cancer that aren't catching it early enough. Moving a diagnosis of cancer 2 months is life or death for many, many people and many, many diagnoses. All the while, they're now trying to defund / dismantle police and leave us unprotected. And we can see what kind of people are out there. They're showing us on TV what those people are like, standing in these fake, not actual, I'm not even going to recognize the name of these places because they are not a nation or a city. They're a bunch of dummies. Standing there with guns, and they're telling us, oh, this is peaceful. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing. And they're telling us we don't need protection from people like that. And in the very same breath, oh, yeah, those guys have guns, but you don't need police. Right. Oh, man. Guys, they're desperate. I'm going to be wrapping this up here. It's Saturday. I'm going to go have some, I want to say sushi and food and dinner at the same time. It almost came out finner, but I'm going to go have some food with the family. So I'm going to wrap this up. They are desperate and they are fighting for their lives. And I've said this multiple times in this video. The world is watching. They are desperate. They are fighting for their lives. I repeated myself. Keep track of that, okay? Don't forget about the Senate hearings that are happening. I don't know if you guys missed it, but Lindsey Graham, we'll find out what Lindsey Graham's going to do with it, has the ability to subpoena basically anybody. Everybody that is dirty, that was involved in Obamagate, that helped spy on American citizens, including a candidate for president and then acting and duly elected president, they're toast. This is the biggest political scandal in American history. They are caught red-handed, and it is about to play out right in front of the entire world. This is not just being watched by America. This is being watched by the world, and everyone's about to watch this go down. They are caught red-handed. It is over. These people have to go under oath now. To everyone, again, I've said this in other videos, to everyone who says nothing's happening until so-and-so's arrested, and so-and-so's arrested, and so-and-so's arrested, and Barr's a shill, and I don't trust anybody. And I get it. I get it. I've been watching this for years now, too. I'm with you. I'm as frustrated as you. But all these people, like 50 of them, potentially could be going under oath now to lie, to rat on each other, to perjure themselves, to basically go down for the crime of treason. The crime of treason leaves distance between your feet and the earth. that is literally on the books for that crime. These people, this is a big deal. I mentioned that this is the biggest political scandal in history. That's not an exaggeration. The crimes these people are guilty of are big. And this is one crime. This is just the Obamagate thing. That's not the human trafficking and the sex crimes and the crimes against children, all that stuff that is also happening at this very same time. 600,000 Hillary Clinton emails. The media, silent. But they are covering all this other nonsense. Why are they covering all that stuff? Why is all that stuff coming out? Why are we going event to event to event to event? Disaster to disaster to disaster. Because evil is fighting for evil's life and it is backed in a corner. The show is about to begin and they are all about to be exposed. Look at the celebrities' Twitter feeds and Instagram feeds. And I don't mean all celebrities. I mean the ones that have been really vocal against our president. Go look at their feeds. Sure, they've still got their typical nut swingers or just, you know, they still see them as these big idols, false idols. We've been talking about this. I mean, if you were a kid and read the Bible, read any of those religious teachings, these are the false idols they warned us about. The Rock, LeBron, Snoop, all these idiots. They are all the false idols we were warned about from the time we were little to now. These are them. But go look at their Instagram feed. Go look at their Twitter feeds. Like at their twit feeds. Oh, it just needs to be twits. But go look. They're getting toasted. Those people post something, and for every good comment they get roasted by the general public right behind it. The world is watching. It is now their turn. They destroyed President Trump and anyone who knew his life for the past 3 years. And all the while, he made all of our lives significantly better in the face of all of it. Nothing can stop what's coming. It is their turn now. There is a big week coming. I told you guys I was going 30 for 30. I will find something to make a video about tomorrow. I'm sure I'll watch something that'll set me off. Like, subscribe, hit the bell next, subscribe, click all. Keep coming back and making sure you're still subscribed. In the comments from yesterday's video, still people saying, hey buddy, I was unsubscribed, but I resubscribed. Still happening. I know it's happening. I love you all. Stick in there. Where we go one, we go all. Jared RedRacer. See you guys tomorrow.